Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first match of Runeterra Academy's freshman class in the playoffs. We're coming at you with freshman class Division 2's number 1 seed TD Frost going up against Division 1's number 2 seed Zenigma Darkstar. My name is Tajigar Tasher Short, joined by Tiger on the desk on this Thursday night. We are very glad that you all came out to watch us tonight. Tiger, any thoughts going into this series? Because I'm sure that, there's a lot going into it.
Yeah, well, both of these teams right at the top of the table. TD Frost not dropping a single match throughout the regular season, and Zenigma Darkstar only losing to the Nameless as they were 4-1, tied for the top of the division. And then they are in this matchup, which could be a preview for us of the grand finals potentially. So we'll have to see how these teams play. But we are getting right into the draft, seeing the first pick of the Kindred taken away by Zenigma. That's a big pick for the jungler, actually, of TD Frost. So that's a little bit of a steal away. And we do have a couple of subs today as well. So looking at the bot lane, both supports are subbed out. And the AD carry from the side of TD Frost also is a sub. So we'll be seeing some interesting developments in draft because of that.
That we will. On the topic of that, we do see some, I would say, highlight bands. Misfortune taken away from Girth Brooks. No surprise there. He has been performing very well on that champion. The Rakan Xayah duel banned away by the side of Zenigma, and that's not too surprising to me when your support is named Rakan out and your ADC has a Xayah icon in the client. So I would say no surprises there. Viego and Senna locked in for the side of TDF. And what do you know? On the day Ruination begins, are they just trying to stick to theme, or do you think they have something up their sleeve?
Yeah, they got the Sentinels in, but I think that Viego and Senna make sense as a combination. You're looking at Viego potentially being flexed between the solo lanes and jungle. And I think Viego's a strong DPS champion. And when you have the Senna as a supportive marksman on probably the bot lane side, I'm expecting from TD Frost, then that makes sense from terms of a damage perspective. You can have the Senna supporting the Viego, try to heal him up and just do some poke damage potentially. The Kayle coming in also means that they've got a very squishy team comp so far. Viego having a little bit of tankiness, but only in a bruiser sense, not going to be a full front line. So I'll be expecting some of the later picks from TDF to be some of these tanks. And looking on the other side, Zenigma doing for themselves pretty well towards late game picks. Kindred, of course, with the infinite scaling. Kog'Maw going to scale up very well into the late game as well. And then the Shen is very strong in the solo lane. And we talked about Obi-Wan Shinobi doing some carry work from Zenigma.
Yep, Obi-Wan Shinobi is your freshman top laner of the week. And like you said, has been an absolute X factor for the side of Zenigma on picks, especially the Shen. Getting into the second phase of bans, we see the Ziggs and Malzahar banned away, as well as the Annie and Lissandra. So full mid target priority by both sides. Though I suppose when it's like you want to ban the mid laners pool or the supports pool, odds are they're going to favor the mid laners. And there's your tanky champion, you called out earlier, Nautilus being locked in as support for the side of TD Frost.
Yeah, and with the Nautilus locked in, I'll be interested to see if it's going to be a Morgana as the counter. I definitely think having that black shield is good. Looks like it will be the Soraka instead. Having an enchanter by the side of the Kog'Maw makes sense. Lulu, of course, being banned away means that you're down to the second tier. I would have looked for maybe a Karma, but at this level, it's maybe a champion pool sort of thing where if it's going to be Soraka is the most comfortable pick, then of course you want to go towards something like that. And picking up a supportive mid laner here would make a lot of sense based on the playstyle we've seen from Zenigma. They can start to get fed Shen or fed Kog'Maw, then that can start to be supported up by these Soraka, Seraphine. Even Kindred has a supportive ultimate with the invulnerability from death, so I think that makes sense from the side of wanting to carry, and I'll be interested to see how they play these picks out. The last pick, the counter pick, Victor, I like this into Seraphine, but we'll see if it's going to be a lane dominant matchup potentially for the side of TDF, or if it's going to be more of a scaling up sort of sense.
That for sure. Going back to the Soraka pick, like you mentioned, both team supports are subbed out. This is Detrock taking over for Nakar on the side of this thing. But Darkstar, Detrock with a history of playing these enchanter-like supports. We got the Lulu, we got the Janna, we got the Morgana. So really no surprise that the Soraka is coming through. Chinese Spy, Victor, certainly a comfort pick for them. For the side of TDF, as you said, bot lane is subbed out, but we've seen a lot of interaction for the better between the jungler and the mid laner. Do you think we'll see some of that coming out tonight?
Absolutely. I mean, you got to stick with your strengths. We got a best of 3 here. We talked about, I'm not sure if we already stated this, but it's best of 3 for this round and for the first round of losers bracket. The rest of them will be best of 5s. But in a best of 3, you really don't get such a long time to get a feel for how the series is going to play out. You kind of just got to bring forth your best stuff right at the beginning of the match. I think that when you've got Viego Victor, that definitely points to having some capacity to fight, especially if you're up against something like a Kindred Seraphine. Victor going to be able to poke them out pretty easily. And while there's some sustain there, I think that with the Viego in tow, it should be a potential winning 2v2 side for the side of TDF here.
And I'd like to take a visit to these bot lane picks, because the Nautilus was locked in before the Soraka. Soraka, I have a friend who's a Soraka one trick, and he said, if the enemy support locks in Soraka, lock in Xerath support. And I've been a big fan of that so far. She can't heal if she doesn't have any health. But do you see the Soraka as a possible counter pick into the Nautilus? Because let's say Nautilus lands a hook, but then so much of Senna's setup is being able to get in there, land her root, and then start firing away with her auto Q, rhythm. So do you think that Soraka is maybe a good pick? So Nautilus lets a hook, she simply plops a silence down, and Senna is, for the most part, disarmed in one of those trades.
Yeah, I think that Soraka is probably pretty good into Nautilus. For the first 5 levels, I think once the depth charge becomes available, then it's a little bit too hard of an engage to just be able to throw down the silence and just be immune to the rest of the spells, because at that point you're going to get CC'd. Senna's going to start landing auto attacks because the range will start to come up with the miss stacks. And I think that in the long run, the Soraka won't be able to out 2v2 the Nautilus, but that's not really the point when you have Kog'Maw. You really just want to have that disengage potential. So being able to throw down the silence should be helpful enough to at least get them out of situations. Of course, you've got the wish as well to get some extra health on the entire side. So as long as it's keeping Girth safe on this Kog'Maw, I think that it's going to be doing its job. So I do like the Soraka pick here.
Okay. And on the topic of picks, I would absolutely hate to go up against a team which has a Viego, a Senna, and a Kayle. Because, Viego, as everybody says, once he gets that first reset, it's really just off to the races with him after that. Then you have a Kayle who can pop her ultimate onto him and keep him alive in the fight, a Senna with her supportive abilities. So, and this Viego, I would say, might be the crux upon which a lot of TDF's success is going to depend on, in my opinion.
And I feel like that's a good point, but with a Kayle in the game, it's always going to be a potential Kayle carry.
Yeah.
Once you hit level 16, it starts to be very scary to have to go up against that extra range, extra DPS. Once you get to full build on Kayle, there's not a lot that can duel against that in the game, other than maybe like a Jax, but we don't have anything like that in this game. But anyways, I think that looking at the team comps as a whole, there is a lot of scaling on both sides.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I would say that one side specifically outscales the other, but they do like different things. Like from the side of TDF, they basically want to get in situations where they're skirmishing. They don't really want a full 5v5 with their comp. But if they're in situations where they're trading a lot and getting low health bars, then like you're saying, having Viego means that you can just get one kill and then all of a sudden you have all of the kills. But on the other side, it's more of a team fight oriented comp for the side of Zenigma. They want to be able to charm up everyone with the Seraphine ult and then have everyone sit in the Lamb's Respite from Kindred, make sure that they all stay alive, and then just start see damage coming down from Girth on the Kog'Maw. I will be interested in seeing if it's going to be either side throwing up a split pusher. I mean, Kayle, Shen, both going to be hard to 1v1 kill, but I think that both sides are going to want to set themselves up for team fights in a way that will benefit their side. So I don't expect to be seeing so much of the split pushing.
All right. So that's what you have to look for in this upcoming game. We are going to let Spec Delay run its course, then we will get right onto the Rift. We'll get you game one of this best of three between the freshman class Division 2's number 1 seed TDF Frost and the Division 1 number 2 seed Zenigma Darkstar in this first match of the winners semifinal. Stick with us. We'll be right back to you after this quick break. Welcome to Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen, in Game 1 in this best of 3 of the freshman class winners semifinals. Like we said, we have the freshman class Division 2 number 1 seed, Team TD Frost, on the red side, going up against Division 2's number 1 seed, going up against Division 1's number 2 seed, Zenigma Darkstar. On the blue side, winner of this will advance to the winners finals, and they will be playing either Nameless Existence or the Queen's Gambit Knights. The loser goes down to the loser's bracket, but they could still make the miracle run and go all the way back to the grand finals. So if the stars align, we could see a repeat matchup of what have been these two phenomenal teams in the season in the grand finals. And I'm sure, just like us on the desk, you are all excited for that. Speaking of excited, I'm excited to get in the game. How you feeling, Tiger?
Yeah, I'm also excited. And to your point, this could be a grand finals matchup. It could also be the losers final matchup if the winner of this match loses
Oh yeah.
against in the winners bracket finals. So multiple points where these teams could meet back up depending on the circumstances. But either way, they're going to need to get a feel for each other here in this series pretty early on, and it looks like it's going to be a leashless topside start from the Marat Lodge. So we'll see if that is going to impact the macro decision. I believe that there was a ward, so it got swept away, but that did reveal the position. So both sides should know where each other started out on the jungle path.
Yep. And then, with the Viego, with that build and sustain, I think the leashless start shouldn't be a problem. Granted, if you want to lose, put me in jungle. So take everything I say about jungle with a grain of salt, but that's just my viewpoint of it. Was a standard 5-point start. Both jugglers starting on their respective red buffs. And we're seeing some trades coming out, particularly in the mid lane. Hook will land onto Detrock. Lots of damage coming through. Out comes the center root. Force flash away. Ignite is ticking. Killer Star flash forward offensively, but the first blood goes to Rakan out with the Ignite. TD Frost already on the board, 2.5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, a little bit of an early all-in from the side of TD Frost, and they were able to get themselves to level 2 first. So they were able to take all the advantage there, everything going down. And the Summoners blown pretty even on both sides. It was Flash by Detrock and a heal from Girth. And on the other side, it was Ignite from Rakan out and Flash from Telestera trying to finish off the kill. Unfortunately, the credit did go over to Rakan out, which means that it's going to be a little bit lesser of the gold value. But it looks like the Marat Lodge already on the path trying to find a setup for a gank. Detrock trying to clear this ward, still level 1, actually going to level up off of it. So that does mean that it's going to be a little bit of a safer path, but I think that unfortunately for say Karma, it is going to be at the mark spawning on the side that the Marat Lodge is showing up at. So not going to be able to get that first mark just yet. Of course, Kindred, all important to get the 4 marks so that you can get that range extension. It looks like gank coming in the mid lane, though.
Junglers converging in the mid lane. Karma is locked up by the gravity field. Like I said, Marat Lodge as showing their face in the mid lane as well. See Karma sticking around for another second or two. Has put that first champion mark onto Chinese Spy in the mid lane. We'll see if that influences their pathing as time goes on.
Yep, and so far not going to be too dangerous in any of the solo lanes. I mean, Obi-Wan Shinobi I'm going to keep an eye on because Kale has an weak early game, I should say. And Shen, definitely one of the stronger early game champions, going to be taking a trade here.
And yeah, just look at that damage coming through, especially with the empowered Q when its path does intersect with the enemy champions. I'm a certified Shen gamer and ARAM, so I love to see people do great at the champion.
Gank top
will come out, and it's going to land on Detrock. Well, there's action in the bot lane as well. Detrock brought low. Hook root will land from the Senna, but they are forced to back away under tower. I missed any action in the top lane.
Yeah, it was an attempted gank, but say Karma was a little bit too late. That was allowing enough time for Jason to back off on the Kale. Able to get a reset in and should be in pretty decent position here. Small CS lead developing for Obi-Wan Shinobi. So kind of the position that you want to be in there as a Shen. But we'll see if they're going to be able to find any reganks in that top lane and set themselves up for early success in the gold department. But right now, about 1,000 gold lead in favor of TDF. Actually, going to be benefiting from that early kill, but also a little bit of CS advantage in the mid lane, starting to add up for Chinese Spy.
Yep, that's for sure. And, just unfortunately, the biggest gold gap in the game is between the supports, which is not, optimal, surely, for the side, which is get that first blood. This Chinese Spy is making their way through the river. State Karma brought very low. Out comes the Chaos Storm, but Stand United is channeled. Shinobi joins the fight. Karma is low and finished off by Chinese Spy's ultimate. Merit Lodge might want to go in, but backs away. Callister was also left alone in the bot lane, but nothing will come of that for the side of Zenigma Darkstar. Another kill over to TD Frost.
Yeah, and I'm just a little bit too aggressive from Say Karma. And you got to realize when you're level 4 versus level 6, that's not going to work out. I mean, you have the Chaos Storm come down, and that's just ticking the entire time. It went straight through the Stand United, even being channeled up, and was able to come through for the kill anyways. So if that had been done without the Stand United available, that would have just looked absolutely awful. And it was absolutely awful anyways, but like it would have been exposed probably more to the level of how awful I think it was as a play than how it actually looked.
Jason K-Boy, well, I'll take this time to run through rosters, or why not? So, for the side of TD Frost, your Division 2 #1 seed, you have Jason K-Boy 23 in the top lane, the Merit Lodge. If anybody's in the chat and knows how to actually pronounce these, feel free to let us know. The Merit Lodge in the jungle, Chinese Spy in the mid lane, Calistera in the bot lane, supported by Rakan out. For the side of Zenigma Darkstar, Obi-Wan Shinobi, the one and only, in the top lane, Say Karma in the jungle, Blessed Pantheon in the mid lane, Girth Brooks 7283 as the ADC, with Destruct as support in place of Nakar. Kill Astera, and Merit Lodge is correct. Okay, thank you.
All right, and going back to after that pick on say Karma or maybe Throw, depending on how you're seeing it, but whatever the case, after that the Drake was taken by the side of TDF, so they're getting themselves not only early gold advantages but starting to stack up those Drakes as well. Looking at the next one, it will be Mountain, so we'll be looking at a Cloud Soul or an Ocean Soul. So we'll keep track on that, see if it's going to be stacked up another one here in about 3 minutes from the side of TDF, or if it's going to be evened out and we'll see a much later sort of soul progression.
Yep, and I'm thinking, let's see. Cloud Ocean. Ocean Soul is, I would say, certainly the most valuable out of the two in general. So wouldn't be... Oh, no. Nobody has any... I've lost my train of thought. Okay, Ocean Soul better than Cloud Soul. I am a
yes.
You said a CS development, CS lead was developing in the top lane, but we see that flattened out. In the meantime, Chinese Spy asserting dominance over in the mid lane, currently sitting at 25 CS up on their lane counterpart.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the CS going back to Jason is most likely from getting to level 6 and finally being able to have that range advantage. Always going to be under threat of getting taunted up. Going to be a fight breaking out in the bot lane.
In the bot lane, Dektrick is taken by the Nautilus once again, but nothing will come of it this time.
Yeah, I guess not. But it was a flash force, so that's not exactly nothing. We might have a fight here in the river.
Gravity Field is going to catch the jungler. Outcome Blessed Pantheon with a beautiful double charm. Chinese Spy bought very low. Karma is going to get their revenge. Merit Lodge are trying to get away, force the ult defensively. Shinobi staying on top of them, but the Herald Path will provide a path out of there for TD Frost. Jungler and Zenigma Darkstar are on the board.
Yeah, so well layered was the CC there. The taunt lands with the flash to make sure that it goes down, and then the encore lands right before the taunt expires. So there's no way out of that one for Chinese Spy, and just a good catch from the side of Zenigma to get themselves back on the board. And now it might be yielding them a Rift Herald as well.
Yep, Seikama is on the as we speak. Seikama having picked up 2 marks. That top lane Scuttle Crab was 1, and finally getting their vengeance on Chinese Spy, who they had marked earlier in the game. So what is it? They need Kindred needs 4 marks to get the first bonus, I think, and then it's every 3 after that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But you're just looking for the first 4 mostly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's 2 marks picked up, and the Rift Herald for the side of Seikama. Do you have any intuition on where Zenigma's jungler might plan to place Shelly?
Yeah, I think that most likely going to be either mid or top. Right
Okay.
now, I think Obi-Wan Shinobi is in the better position, but whenever you place it mid, you have a chance to rotate towards Drake, and Drake is coming up here in 30 seconds.
Watch
So
bot
if
lane.
they want, yeah, we have
There's
Depth
Depth
Charge
Charge
already.
coming out. It's going to catch a flash-listed truck. They're dogpiling onto the Soraka, but a Stay United comes through. It's Obi-Wan Shinobi joining the fight. Rakan out will get the second kill for TD Frost bot lane. There's a flash forward from Merit Lodge on the Soul and Soraka. Soul, Blessed Pantheon joining their teammates in the bot lane, but very late. And it will be Detrock falling in the bot lane as Rakan out. Might get caught out. And it failed flash over the wall. The shutdown goes to Obi-Wan Shinobi. And we have a convergence from both teams over this Mountain Drake.
You hate to see it.
Yeah.
But anytime that you step too far forward, you got to have your teammates there with you. So this could be a product of some of this not having played together as much. When you have a sub on your team, you got to work on the communication, and that's definitely not a given. So seeing an error like that always going to be unfortunate, but understandable, and hopefully throughout the series we can see this getting worked out a little bit more efficiently. But that does mean that Obi-Wan Shinobi already 1-0 on the Shen, being a little bit behind in the CS, but that is where I'm expecting the carry potential for the side of Zenigma Darkstar to come from. Now we got a fight breaking out.
Me out from Rakan. Out is going to be Blessed Pantheon falling. The charm comes through, but much too late, as is the Lamb's Respite. Seikama goes back into the gravity well way too early. But fortunately, TD Frost cannot step up under tower to get the second kill there in that mid lane after Shelly was deployed to no avail. So some messy plays coming out from the side of Zenigma Darkstar there in the mid lane.
Yeah, and that was really not what I was hoping to see out of the Rift Herald. When I said that I thought it might go to the mid lane, I was expecting that to be in conjunction with taking the Drake, which they had already done, so they need to go back for that and put it down in the mid lane. Right now, they could be using it to try to expand the lead in the top lane. Like, you look at the gold, it's very close in the top lane, actually. It's not much of a lead at all. Most of the gold advantage in the game is on Chinese Spy right now. Got about a 1.4k gold lead over his lane opponent. A little bit in the bot side as well. Rakan out, still sitting on about 1,000 ahead of Detroct. So good gold advantage still being maintained here by the side of TDF. Now a little bit of an invade coming through. We'll see if it gets spied out.
Oh, Pantheon gets rooted, but brought low by that piercing light. Actually done by Killer Stera there. Karma wants this mark. This Grump is going to... Oh, that is going to be the third mark for the Kindred. It is taken. And feels good man moment for the Kindred.
Yeah, whenever you're a jungler and you get a 4-man group in the enemy jungle just to make sure that you can get a mark on Kindred, you know your teammates are there for you. So love to see that for the side of Karma. Jason could be in trouble here. Obi-Wan Shinobi with the big trade. Big trade now coming back in.
Taunt almost
just came
landed.
up short.
If that landed, that's a kill. That, yeah.
I agree, yeah. would have been very difficult to get out of alive anyways. I think Obi-Wan Shinobi is starting to hold all the cards here in this top lane matchup. But I think Jason's still feeling pretty good about just scaling up here for a little while longer. Whenever you have Kale, you can't spell scale without Kale. Well, actually you can, but I'm no spelling bee champion, okay? But anyways, we got
Oh,
River now
I
is the
think
fight.
Say Karma took that Scuttle Crab as the Viego ultimate comes out as a Seraphine ultimate, but both of them to no real effect. Say Karma says, "Yoink, gimme, gimme." That's my Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, and now we gotta do the check to see if the marks are still 3. That was 4 marks. I don't
Yo.
remember where the 4th mark was, but that means that the range extension has come through for Say Karma in pretty decent time. 15 minutes, not too bad to get onto those 4 marks at all. So now we'll be seeing maybe a chance for Say Karma to start doing some damage as well.
Mm-hmm. Has not yet completed their mythic, but with the what's that? Pickaxe, Noon Quiver, Agility Cloak, Gale Force, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah, I think that. Yeah. I'm still learning these, like the full build pass. I know it's not. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
embarrass myself any further by
I
speaking.
think yeah. We'll see what it gets developed into. I'm sure that someone out there in the audience has already memorized all of this stuff, but I'm a support main. I'm a Lux one trick actually, so
Oh.
I never build whatever item that is. So,
Mhm. Well, okay, we know.
well,
Oh, Karma is out here. There's the pink, the Oracle lens coming through. Lamb just but forced to come out early. Staying United channel. Shinobi is joining the fight. There he is. We don't see a taunt come through just quite yet. It misses. It's Merit Lodge going back into the back line onto Karma. Out comes the Sentinel Ultimate to provide some shielding and some damage. Shinobi caught by the root. Fortunately, not bring anybody of his team down with him going down solo. All 5 members of TD Frost in this bot lane. They're just trying to get away. Jason K-Boy does have the ultimate ready to go. Deathstroke, it's a double kill for Jason K-Boy on the KO. Out comes a dredge line. It will land onto Girth Brooks. There's a kill coming through for Killistera and another for Jason K. A triple kill on the KO. And a 4 for 0 in the bot lane for TD Frost.
such clean turret aggro juggling there from the side of TDF, and getting those 3 kills onto Jason means all of a sudden you've got a fed Kale, and fed Kale is exactly what you want when you need to win a game. And right now, with the 6,000 gold lead on top of it, I think TD Frost are in a great position to do that.
TD Frost showing why they are Division 2's #1 seed, why they are undefeated, 5-0 in the season. Well, I think they may have dropped a game, maybe just one, but as far as series go, they are undefeated, 5-0. Beautiful League of Legends coming out from them. And let's see. We have Killistera did complete their mythic a while ago. It was the Duskblade coming through. But yeah, the KO, I mean, like you said, once the KO hit level 6, got that range advantage, being able to build up a lead there. And I think we really saw it come to fruition there without even needing to use the redemption.
Yeah. And I
That's
think
not
that
redemption. Never mind. That
yeah.
divine judgment. Okay.
Yeah, redemption a little bit different, got a little bit of an item there, but with this advantage for the side of TDF, I'm expecting to see them try to continue to snowball this. I don't think that they want to just sit here on their advantage. The Baron going to come up in just about a minute here, so I'm expecting to see it, some priority around that. Some wards hopefully coming over to that area of the field of play, and hopefully we're going to have the teams finding some good fights as well.
Yep, Karma's Dance of Arrows not able to get them over the wall. Joining the top laner up here in the top lane is Shinobi trying to provide some space for his team's jungler. And Herald looks like it may go... Nope, are they going to take it right here? Yep, okay. These trades in the mid lane, Chinese Spy continuously bringing Les Pantheon down to below a 3rd health. But we have yet to see Chinese Spy go in for a quick burst kill using that ultimate.
Yeah, so with the Rift Herald, I'm expecting TDF to look for some sort of towers taken down. I'm hoping to see it 2 charges, hopefully,
Mhm.
if not more. Chinese spy doing the work on the mid tower as well means that the map's starting to open up for TDF. They're going to be in good position here to hopefully get the most use out of that Rift Herald that they just picked up. And we'll see if they're able to start taking over priority of the enemy jungle as well.
Yep. It seems like Say Karma is getting the short end of the stick when it comes to these marks, as the next mark was the red buff over on TD Frost side of the map. Uh-oh. Pantheon? Jason Cable trying to stay
Yeah,
on top. Out comes the root and the Seraphine ultimate. There's a charm, but no backup to come through and cannot secure the kill. Pantheon did go Luden's Tempest instead of, what you might see. I don't know if you might see normally, but the Moonstone build on that mid lane Seraphine.
yeah, Moonstone or Shirelias probably is what you'd normally expect. Could be something developing here in the bot lane.
No, just big trades, but they got a Soraka. Who cares? But it's Merit Lodge coming in from the back through Try. Silence coming through. No stun just yet. Doesn't ult forward to try to get on top of somebody. Bated breath, edge of your seat, but nothing will come of it down in the bot lane.
Yeah, and I think that the Drake going to be spawning here, not just yet, but
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be the next objective that the teams are looking for. So maybe trying to get some priority over bot towers to start allowing uh, the teams to go towards those things. Still watching out for the Rift Herald as well. The Marat Lodge could be looking for an opportunity to put that down, maybe break that first bot tower.
Big damage coming through from Chinese Spy onto Bliss Pantheon. And I want to say, while this was happening in the bot lane, Jason K-Boy literally just took all of Say Karma's topside jungle.
Yeah,
And so this is a Kale which is on a roll at the moment. I would not be surprised if, like, hey, you called it. You said the Kale was likely going to be the problem for the side of Zenigma Darkstar over in Champ Select. Looks like that is going to come true. Karma's going to get caught out way up front. There's the root coming through. Dredgelite will miss because of the flash. Shelly trying to get a second charge out. Will it come through? Yes, it will. Kill Estera brought very low by Girth Brooks, but no kill. Shinobi had both teleport and stand united ready to go, but looks like they did not want to make anything happen because Jason Cable is
yeah,
teleport ready as well. He can match it.
yeah. And with Jason taking that tower, it means that right now it's just objectives going down left and right in favor of TDF. They're able to claim some Drakes. The next Drake has spawned, so
There's
it
a
could
Dredge
be.
line's going to catch Snake. Karma, we see the Lamb's Respite come out. No, but they're staying united. Finally, the Kindred Ultimate comes out. Shinobi has joined the fight. All health bars are low. Chinese Spy will finally kill onto the jungler. It's Merit Last trying to get a reset. Hasn't come through quite yet. Shinobi will be finished off. It's a double kill for Jason K. And a clean ace in just in seconds for the side of TD Frost.
Yeah, and now we're starting to see the wallets coming out. It's the side of TD Frost with all of the advantages, and they're starting to push those. They've gotten a few more towers down. They were able to use the Herald successfully on the bot lane. They were able to get the win in the team fight, and now they may be rotating towards Baron, it looks like.
Yep, and it's an ace. There's no way to stop this, and it's just this Kale sitting on the completed Nashers, the Rabadons, 10 stack Dark Seal. We'll have to see if Jason does want to turn that into the Magi Soul Stealer. Whew.
Yeah,
There
I
it is.
definitely think that that's the right call. Start writing the names down in the death note. Hopefully not going to get knocked down and lose some of those pages. But right now, 5-0-1, definitely in the biggest carry position in the game, and starting to take away some camps as well. So making sure all the resources going into Jason, the big carry right now. We'll see if that's going to continue. But it's going to be very difficult to kill a champion that has an immunity built into the kit with the Divine Judgment. So I'm going to be watching to see if the some picks coming through onto other champions can set up a situation that's more favorable to the side of Zenigma, trying to take down any of these carries that have not been killed yet on the side of TDF.
Mm-hmm. Jason not opting to finish off the Soul Stealer, though we do see that decision coming through for Chinese Spy. And I want to make two mentions. I want to talk to chat twice. First off, who is it? Somebody mentioned that they're waiting for Grievous Wounds to come out on the side of TD Frost, but it looks like they're kind of past the point of needing that. Not when you have a hyper-fed Kale just coming through and slicing through your health bars like hot butter. My second time I want to talk to chat is Red. I saw that copy pasta, and if you could never do that again, I would be very thankful.
I think that as far as the grievous wounds go, I think that it's still worth investing in them
Okay.
because you never know what situation you're going to show up, and I don't think that you're going to buy it as Jason when you're this fed.
Mhm.
But you're not going to always have your fed Kale with you, so I wouldn't be surprised to see someone like Chinese Spy starting to build towards uh, grievous wounds, or potentially Cholestra on the Senna not going to be able to do so much DP or damage in the burst form, I should say.
Oh. Speaking of burst damage, there's Chinese Spy obliterating Detrick with a simple, 3-hit combo. That's going to be the intercept going down, but it's on the flank. Shinobi coming in. The charm will catch no one. Karma bot low merit launch on the back line. Kilistera is all the way where they want to be in their own back line. It's going to be Chinese Spy on a rampage. Merit launch continuing the chase with the stolen Seraphine Soul. A double kill, triple kill for the TD Frost mid laner, and it looks like this could be game set. Well, not game set and match quite yet, just game for the side of TD Frost as they take top and mid inhibitors and get onto these Nexus turrets with 2 waves of Baroned Up minions.
Yeah, the death timers are too long, Taj. I think that this one's going to be over. It's going to be game 1 going in favor of TD Frost here. And very well played, very cleanly played out. I don't think there was ever a moment where you doubted the TDF victory after the start of the game. As soon as they got the lead, they were able to snowball it into the victory, and just well played out all around, and good macro, especially from the side of TDF.
Yep. I do want to. I will talk to chat again. Lol underscore greed. I see you in the chat. Needed cog to be a god. I do want to say that we had a lot of disengage coming out from the side of Zenigma's comp, but nothing really to protect the Kog'Maw, in my opinion. So I think that is one gap that they kind of had. But even from the beginning, Cog was never really in a position to carry. We saw the 2 subs on the side of TD Frost doing very well down that bot lane. Nautilus coming out with some aggressive hooks. And when you look at damage charts, and Seraphine is the one with the most damage on your team, I think that's really all that needs to be said as far as how the game went for your own team. Okay. Yep. But yeah, Chinese Spy doing big things for their own team, 16,000 damage in the end. And of course, who could forget Jason K. Boy, 5-0-1 on that KO. I would love to see Shinobi try to go for some more early game pressure, ensure that that clock that ticks on that KO is delayed as long as possible. But unfortunately, that was not to be the case. And it will be TD Frost taking the first game of this best of 3 series in the winners semifinals. They take the next one, it's going to be a clean sweep for them, and they will find themselves in the winners finals, as Zenigma Darkstar will go down to the losers bracket. We'll see how it comes out. Darkstar want to force those 3 games, and we'll see if they can right after this quick break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming at you with game 2 of this winner semifinals best of 3 between TD Frost and Zenigma Darkstar. We are coming off the back of a dominating win by the side of TD Frost, mostly because of Chinese Spy, their mid laner, on the victor, as well as Jason K. Boy on the KO in the top lane. Let's see if Zenigma can alter the strategy to bring this best of 3 to the full 3 games. If TD Frost take this next one, it's a clean sweep, and they will be taking on either the Nameless Existence or Queen's Gambit Knights in the winners finals. Tiger, what do you think we'll see change getting into this game, particularly in the context of Champion Select?
Well, we've already seen what's going to be changed. It's going to be the Viego banned away by Zenigma instead of the Rakan. So they decide, you know what, Xayah Rakan's too strong as a duo, so they're keeping the Xayah ban, but they're going to allow the Rakan through. So I'll be interested to see if TDF want to pick that up. But then with them switching to blue side, TDF getting the first pick, able to take away the Kindred this time. That means Zenigma will be put onto the Xin Zhao for Say Karma. So we'll see if that's going to change up their strategy. I think that Zenigma may be looking to go more towards some early game focus this time around with that Xin Zhao picked up. And the Tristana as well going to be pretty strong in the early game. Going to be up against a pretty, once again, scaling focused team comp on the side of TDF with the Kindred and Senna.
Yep, that is how it looks at the moment. We'll see if that scaling mindset does hold strong as we get through the rest of Champion Select. They're going up against an early game threat like Xin Zhao. I would love to see some sort of response that can keep pace in the early game, whether, granted, their jungler's already locked in, so I guess it would have to be from one of the solo lanes. But TD Frost does get their hands on that Kindred, and we do know that Merit Lodge is a bit of a Kindred connoisseur. We've seen some big things come out from that player over the course of the season when they get their hands on the Kindred.
Yeah, and I think that it's looking very similar to last game in the style of team comp we're seeing from TDF. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Kale ban hit the table here. I don't know how much you're going to attribute last game to the Victor pick. I think that they can leave that one available, but definitely after what they saw, they should be banning away Kale here, and that's what I expect to see. But with the Annie picked up, that does change things up a little bit. It's more of an aggressive mid lane pick. The Seraphine more of the supportive style, and Annie's still doing a lot of supportive role things. But I think that you're going to see a lot more damage coming through this time. And last game, we talked about how we were seeing the Luden's Tempest coming through on Pantheon's Seraphine. And I'm not a big fan of that. But with Annie, I'm expecting to see an Everfrost, hopefully. And that would be a lot more synergistic itemization. And the bans coming through are not including Kale, so I'm wondering if Zenigma are fancying maybe picking it up this time around.
See, Shinobi does not have any Kale games on the season. Nor it does not appear Shinobi really puts any time into that champion on their solo queue games. We can see the Aurelia band away. That is a champion that Shinobi has played to a degree of success that we have seen. So yeah, it doesn't look like a Kale. I doubt Zenigma would take Kale here because, sure, it's a strong champion, just got kind of rolled by it last game, but that doesn't mean you just stick somebody on it just if they're not comfortable with it.
Fair enough. And seeing the Leona picked up here makes me really happy because last game's Enigma's bot lane was much too passive. And this time they're going to be able to fight. They're going to have the Tristana Leona. They should be in a good position to win 2v2s, especially against the Senna. Like, Senna versus Kog'Maw, both are just going to scale up. And it just so happened that TDF had better scaling. I wasn't willing to say it at the beginning of the last game, but it did end up being the case that the scaling was in favor of the team with the Kale. That does make sense looking at it in retrospect, but there was a lot of good scaling options for Zenigma last game as well. Just didn't pan out, but it's going to be the Ziggs picked up as the mid lane with the Victor gone off the table here. and could be Kale top again. I'm not sure that they're going to go towards that. Could be a tank as well, but we'll see what's going to be locked in here. And it is going to be the set, it appears, for TDF. So getting more of a powerful front to back team comp. Oh, last minute switch. Doesn't matter, it's still a tank. I think that we'll be looking for 5v5 team fights from the side of TDF.
Yep, and Jason K, I think that KO game we just saw was actually a bit of an anomaly, unless Jason K has been hiding that pick, because over the course of the season we've seen a lot of tank games coming out, champions like the Ornn, like the Cho'Gath, and so possibly return to form for that player on the Mundo. And I do want to say something that I see. Oh, it's the Lee Sin lane.
Oh yeah, the Lee Sin top probably here for the side of Obi-Wan Shinobi. We'll see if it's going to be a carry performance, as Zenigma is going to need to pick up a win here. So I'm looking at Obi-Wan Shinobi on the Lee Sin, and say Karma on this Xin Zhao are going to need to step up in the early games, especially to make sure that they're going to have early advantages. And I feel like Chinese Spy should be having some lane dominance once again with the Ziggs pickup here. So I'm thinking that TV Frost are right where they want to be, but there's going to be plenty of chances throughout this game for Zenigma to get advantages and capitalize on them as well.
And the one thing that I was going to say I did notice in Zenigma's comp, that I think I noticed, is that it seems like they are much more oriented towards an engage type play style this game rather than disengage. We have the Xin Zhao, we have the Annie, we have the Leona, and so it looks like they're ready to get in your face, come to you instead of making you come to them. And then honestly, I really like the Lee Sin into the hyper tank Mundo and the Nautilus, because Mundo's a tank, he just wants to walk forward, but the Lee Sin, you just press R, and suddenly he's flying all the way back and can take quite a bit of health off of that Ziggs, the Senna, and the Kindred if they're all lined up.
Yeah, and actually, to the point of the Lee Sin ultimate, there's a lot of good things from the side of Zenigma to knock people out of the Lamb's Respite. You got the Dragon Rage from Lee Sin, you got the Buster Shot as well from Tristana, so they're going to be, and the Crescent Guard from Xin Zhao. So they've got 3 ways to stop people from standing on top of the Kindred ultimate. All 3 of those being ultimates as well, so they are big commits if they are spent just for that. But that can make the difference in a team fight, and being able to stop someone from surviving an initial burst can change it from that person carrying the team fight to them not being there at all and just being able to sweep through the enemy team with ease.
Yep. Yeah. Lee Sin, if you told me Lee Sin was going to be, one of the strongest laners in the game in the past, not as in he was the strongest laner in the game in the past. If you told me in the past he was going to be it, I would have doubted you, because I tried that one time in a college in-house and it didn't go that well. So, but yeah. I'm assuming I would expect maybe the Eclipse build here, actually, unless you think he's gonna opt for more survivability in the Gore Drinker. But I really like the Eclipse going against 3 kind of squishy backliners, and will also help out his trades with that percentage max health extra damage on these tank-like champions.
Yeah, but I think that would be too much to ask of someone going up against a Dr. Mundo in lane. So I do think that the Gore Drinker is the most likely option here for Obi-Wan Shinobi. Could also go for Stride Breaker, but I don't know how much he's expecting the rest of his team to carry for him, or if it's going to be more of the Lee Sin show for the entirety of the game. But right now, I think that whatever the case is, it's going to be a bruiser sort of Lee Sin build, because once again, like Dr. Mundo exists, you gotta have a way to take him out in the early to mid game, or hopefully for the side of Zenigma. Once they get to the late game, the damage will start coming through from Girth Brooks, especially in some 5v5 team fights. I'm pretty excited about this situation because both teams should be in pretty good position to be in 5v5 sort of team fights. So I'm hoping that we'll see a lot of those line up throughout the game, and it'll be interesting to see how the teams play it from a macro perspective to get themselves some advantages, because I think that team fights could kind of go either way.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be, both teams will be sitting on a razor's edge as they get into these 5v5s. Both of them set up for it well. TD Frost, in the meantime, set up to take this series 2-0 in a clean sweep. If they take this next game, Zenigma Darkstar want to force all 3 games in this best of 3. The first winners semifinals of Runeterra Academy's freshman class. We'll let Speculate run his course. Once it's over, we'll get back to you on the Rift right after this break. Welcome back to Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen. We are bringing you game 2 of possibly, pardon me, game 2 of possibly 3 in this winners semifinals, sorry, of Runeterra Academy's freshman class. We have the Division 2 number 1 seed TD Frost now on the blue side, going up against Division 1's number 2 seed Zenigma Darkstar on the red side. TD Frost coming off the back of a very happy win. 18-2, I believe, was the final kill scoreline, with big plays coming through from Jason K. Boy and Chinese Spy, along with some early pressure asserted by their substitute bot lane of Killistera and Rakan out. We'll see if Zenigma Darkstar can recover. My name is Tajagar, or Taj for short, on the desk, joined by Tiger as my color caster. Happy to have you here, Tiger. Happy to have you here, dear audience, as both teams set up for invades, but they're on opposite sides of the map.
Yeah, and a good ward in the tri-brush there
Hmm.
actually spotting out that invade. So that allows the side of TDF to set up this invade. And I'm going to be watching closely what the Marat Lodge goes for with Path. Obi-Wan Shinobi might be in trouble here if he walks up to this red buff.
Spots it, but immediately gets out of there. So at the very least, no first blood. But it will be. Oh, are we? Oh, okay.
Good smite.
Hmm.
Smite Force there, but not going to be a lot of follow up for that. So I'm wondering if it'll be a counter invade. So let's keep an eye on Say Karma here.
Yeah.
If it's going to be walking in to try to steal away the enemy red buff. Looks like that will be the call here, but it is Detrock going with him to make sure that he'll survive. So this means that it's going to be a little bit of a delay on getting back to lane, and it will be a late level 2 for Detrock. So I'm going to have my eyes now if there's going to be a fight in the 2v2 that breaks out because of this.
Shinobi going in the top lane. Jason K brought very low. Late level 2 on the Leona. The world is coming to an end as we know it. That's all it feels bad as a Leona because, you know, we dive at 2. Lots of trays in the mid lane. Blessed Pantheon brought low, as is Chinese Spy. It's small, squishy mage against small, squishy mage there in the mid lane. Just how that's going to turn out. It is the Electrocute on Blessed Pantheon. So looking for those big trades coming out and try to chunk out Chinese Spy.
Yeah, and on the back of that invade from Say Karma, I'm thinking that what we saw right there was just a trade of camps, but it does mean that the Marat Lodge is going to have had a better path because it didn't have to go all the way across the map to get one camp and all the way back into his own jungle
Hmm.
in order to pick up all of that stuff. It was just going in for the early invade and then coming straight into the clear. So that should be a little early advantage. Oh no.
And Shinobi got much too big for his britches there, going in under tower, giving first blood to Jason K. Boy on the Mundo.
Yeah, you hate to see it when you hit that Q as a Lee Sin. You just got to recast it. I mean, there's no other options,
Yep.
right? And then you go under tower and you're gonna die for it. And then all of a sudden, maybe there should have been another option. But whatever the case, it's going to be early advantages going over to TDF once again. We'll see if they're going to be able to start to snowball this like they did last game. Already a pretty decent CS advantage in mid and top as well.
Yep, that there is. You know, Shinobi suffering because K-Boy had the freeze as well. It's going to put Shinobi in an even worse spot. Trying to Spy, once again, being able to exert some pressure on Blessed Pantheon like we saw last game. But now Shinobi staying on top of Jason K-Boy. Brought very low. K-Boy might want to keep up this chase. No, we'll call it off. And with the Mundo getting first blood and sitting pretty when it comes to CS, I think we will definitely... We can't see Zenigma Darkstar do what TD Frost did last game and completely ignore Grievous Wounds. I think we need somebody on the side of Zenigma to pay the tax. Just try to make sure this Mundo cannot go where he pleases.
Yeah, and I would expect that to be something that we'll see from Obi-Wan Shinobi pretty shortly here. Although having a little bit of a rough go of it. Could be gank or breaking out as well.
Elijah, beautiful Zenith Blade will get death trucked out of there for the time being, but that Eclipse is wearing off, able to get out of there in time, and no kills come through from that bot lane gank from Mare Lodge.
Yeah, the bad part about flanking when you're against the Leona is that she can just use you as a taxi on the way out. So good plays from Dutrock to evade the gank, but the pressure in the bot side could result in priority over the Drake. So we'll see if that's going to be the case here. As it looks like they may be roaming up for it.
What a dredge line it lands onto Dead Truck. The Truck forced to go in just to try to buy some time for the 80 carry will fall. It's Rakan out getting the first kill, getting the kill again there in the bot lane. Merit Lodge forced to flash away. Shinobi flashes forward offensively. A root comes out from Rakan out trying to buy some time for the 80 carry. It's not enough. Killistera will fall. Girthbrooks will find the kill. It's a rotation coming down from Blessed Pantheon as well. The time bomb goes off. Girthbrooks with the double. And we see Zenigma Darkstar with some big plays to put them on the board in the bot lane. But Chinese Spy will answer with some big pressure in the mid lane.
Yeah, a lot of value out of that teleport, but both solo laners for the side of TDF starting to get some extra gold. We see a plate going down in favor of Chinese Spy. Jason going to be able to push in the wave as well. Already a 20 CS advantage there. So good plays from the side of Zenigma to balance back out the gold. But there was things going on cross map, so it's not like a total win for
Mhm.
the side of Zenigma.
They did grab that Infernal Drake. Next will be Cloud, so we're looking at either Mountain Soul or Ocean once again. And speaking of the Drakes, tonight is a matchup between House Mountain and House Cloud. TD Frost representing House Cloud, Zenigma Darkstar representing House Mountain. So let's see some Mountain Gang or Cloud Gangs in the chat, I suppose. Let's see. And
Yeah.
I was expecting, they took that bot prio down. TD Frost took that bot prio down in the bot lane, started rotating up towards that dragon, but at the same time, the Kindred Mark was on Darkstar's Gromp. So I would have loved to see a repeat of what we saw Darkstar doing last game, playing for the jungler, trying to get as many marks on that Kindred as possible. But unfortunately, that was not the case here.
Yeah, and looks like the mid and top are just starting to get a little bit out of control right
Yeah.
now. More than double CS from the side of Chinese Spy. And not quite double on the CS in Jason's case, but already more than 20 CS advantage in both of those means that gold lead of over 1,000 has developed in favor of TDF. And whenever you're able to develop leads like that just out of CS, then it's going to be very difficult for the other side to find ways to get back in because they need to keep making plays to keep up in the gold.
Yep. And, where really do you make the plays now? You have a Xin Zhao who has yet to really do anything here. We saw the big plays in the bot lane coming through, but that was kind of a whole team effort. But, the Xin Zhao has really yet to make his presence known across the map. He's such an early game champion going up against a possible scaling comp. I'm, you know, just short of disappointed in what Karma has been able to accomplish. And of course, as I say that, he goes in on a gank onto Jason K. Boy, but where it's his backup, it is nowhere to be seen. Forced to use a Crescent Guard to get out of there alive. As Merit Lodge will rotate up from the Rift Herald, but his Blessed Pantheon Tiber's stun will miss. As Jason K flashes over the wall, Merit Lodge will join him with the Dance of Arrows. And what could have been a messy play in the top lane will turn into a, looks like, Rift Herald take for the side of Zenigma Darkstar.
Yeah, but all the while, Chinese Spy finding some more turret plates. That's 3 now. Going to be close to being able to put down the satchel charge and finish off the tower. So I can see why the priority over the Rift Herald was there. Chinese Spy could be in trouble here.
Zenith Blade will not land. Chinese Spy forced to use the flash. The Q will miss. That Q doesn't miss. Rakan outfinds the dredge line onto Obi-Wan Shinobi. There's the satchel charge, taking Blessed Pantheon out of position. Not quite dead just yet. Barely surviving. Zenith Blade will miss again. Shinobi re-engages. There's the Lee Sin double cast Q you want to see. Girthbrooks going in, trying to stay on top of Killistera. It will be enough. A double kill for Shinobi on the Lee Sin. Chinese Spy zoned out of that fight completely by Detroct. And now we're seeing some plays come out from Zenigma Darkstar, trying to turn things back, or I don't know, back into their favor, but trying to swing things into their favor.
Yeah, and I think that right there we saw a little bit of an miscommunication from the side of TDF. I mean, we saw the use of the blast cone actually interrupting the Mega Inferno bomb from hitting anyone. So if that had landed, I think that it looks entirely different. But the bot lane roaming up to try to save the mid laner is definitely a valiant objective. But when you do it like that, then it's going to be a struggle. But meanwhile, it is the top side getting 2 Rift Herald charges off and a mid lane tower going down, as well as a Chinese Spy going to be able to use the satchel charge on that one. So Obi-Wan Shinobi finding ways to be effective around the map, but giving up his own resources in order to do so.
Yep, look at that damage going in on Merit Lodge, but now in a tough spot. Flashing forward is Merit Lodge. Gonna find the kill with the red buff burn. Say Karma trying to go in and make a response, but it's still Lamb's Respite and the Crescent Guard coming through. Karma likely falling here. Jason K. Boy staying on top of that champion. It's Pantheon coming forward with the stun ready to go on the Tibbers, but can't make anything happen in response. backing away, and it's 2 unanswered kills for the side of TD Frost in the top lane.
Yeah, and all of a sudden the lead is out to 4,000 gold in favor of TD Frost. They keep getting stuff, and on the back of that, they may be set up to get back out on the map, get towards this Drake potentially. But other than that, just the amount of towers that they've been getting damage down onto, being able to take down, has meant so much. The plates going down in their favor, they've already got 10. And their bot lane starting to contribute around the map, just be putting down that piercing darkness. But now we got a
Yep,
break.
Big Karma's caught all alone out front in the bot lane. Goes down with no trouble at all. 5 players bot for the side of TD Frost, but they have vision of Jason K-Boy. We'll see if the truck and Girthbrooks can get out of this alive. No, Shinobi does have TP ready to go. It is being channeled. Root will not land there. Shinobi lands the Q onto Jason K-Boy. Will he go in? Yes, he will. Mega Death Bomb will not finish anybody off, but the Troct is very low. Jason K-Boy going in and try to find a kill. Will find one. It is a support falling. Shinobi answers with the trade. Girthbrooks and Shinobi but one hit. Pantheon will go down after summoning Tibbers. It's off to the races for the side of TD Frost. There's another kill coming through. It's Merit Lodge finding Shinobi. And that will likely be, no, not bot lane tier 1 just yet because minions are gone. But a big 4-5-man play coming through, 5-man play coming through from TD Frost in the bot lane. Results in a couple kills and what now will be a tower.
Yeah, so this is going to be 15 plates going over, and that fight well executed. Oh, a little bit early on the satchel charge, unfortunate, but it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, that cooldown is going to come up in 15 seconds anyways, not that they're even going to need it. There it is. That is the last tower going down, and with no outers left and down about 6,500 gold. It's starting to look like desperate situation for the side of Zenigma. Maybe they'll find something here.
Most likely, there's a Zenith Blade coming through. No Lamb's Respite ready to go. It's TD Frost Jungler falling. Recon out is forced to flash out to stay alive. And, you know, at the very least, there's something going over to the side of Zenigma Darkstar. Shinobi stepping forward, and Shinobi needs to be careful. We've seen a lot of aggressive plays coming out, and not all of them paying off. But he will make the wiser decision and back away.
Yeah, so if you look at kill score as the only measure of how the game's going, then you probably say, oh, this is like a really close game.
Yep.
That doesn't really tell the tale for you here. Getting a couple of picks here has been nice from the side of Zenigma, but that's all they've been getting. Like, they get the pick and nothing comes of it. It's just the pick for whatever gold that's worth. And then they back off and go back to whatever it was they were doing before. Whenever something happens for the side of TDF, or even when something's not happening, they're getting objectives, and this is keep adding up. And all of a sudden, you're in a situation where, well, let's not also discount the fact that right now it's an 80 CS lead for Chinese Spy, but they've just been using their innate resources to grow these advantages because the resources are not being utilized as effectively by the side of Zenigma.
Yep. That's true, yeah. Big CS advantage, and now Blessed Pantheon might just get run down here in mid lane. Out comes Tibbers to try to make something happen. Crescent Guard used by Stay Calm to buy some time. It's going to be Merit Lodge forced to put out the Lamb's Respite. Girthbrooks will join the fight in the back line, finds a kill onto the Kindred. Jason K-Boy is trying to get out of there. A beautiful knock-up, however, coming through from Recon out with the depth charge. The fight is turning. Girthbrooks brought low. Shinobi as well. Dredgeline will just barely miss. There's a flash forward offensively. It's Chinese Spy with the double kill. And TD Frost are just going to march this down mid lane.
Yeah, such a great start of the fight. That was the interaction I was talking about with the Buster Shot, not being able to knock Kindred out of the Lamb's Respite, but it just didn't matter because they all stood on top of each other, and then the depth charge ended up knocking everyone up. And as soon as that happens, Chinese Spy arrives, comes in, puts down the bouncing bombs, puts down the Mega Inferno bomb, and everyone dies instantly. There were a few stragglers who were able to walk off and then get shot down in the back, but there was just no way out once they went in too far and everyone was standing on top of each other. So now it's going to be the cost of the second Rift Herald. I know we're not even at 20 minutes yet, and it's already a 9,000 gold lead. right now it could be an inhib going down right about the same time Baron gonna spawn, but a fight's starting to break out here.
Detrik's trying to find something in the back line coming through the Zenith Blade. It's going to be Say Karma rooted up. Detrik brought very low, like in the fall
Big
here.
flank.
Shinobi in the back line, staying on top of Killistera. Merit Lodge will find the kill on Zenigma with support. It is Chinese Spy joining the fight, and with that, I think it's curtains for Zenigma Darkstar right here. Shinobi brought low. Will be finished off. No ward hops over the wall. Beautifully done. And no cooldowns can come out, and Shinobi may get out of this alive. As did
Yeah,
Say Karma.
Shinobi with a big flank there in that fight, and I think that if not for that, it would have been another wipe in favor of TD Frost. And still, it was close to getting wiped because Chinese Spy just putting in so much work right now has all of the extra damage from that Luden's Tempest, has all of the, well, fight breaking out now as well.
Yeah, they're trying to catch Rakan out of position, but it's a Nautilus, and you need a lot of follow-up if you want to engage onto that champion. Rakan out says, Rakan out. And he's going to get out of there as the Troc now steps forward, and we see a mirror play as the name of Darkstar try to catch TDF support out of position, and the Troc immediately finds themselves very much out of position. And now they're stepping forward. A beautiful combo coming through from the Ziggs and the Senna. 2 kills quick as lightning going over to Chinese Spy. Shinobi chance to teleport, but it's brought so low. It's Lee Sin Q. Hey, you got to do something at this point. Just try to find a kill, pad those stats. A triple kill. It is Chinese Spy doing the stat padding. Mountain Drake going over to the side of TD Frost, and things are looking dire, if not lost, for the side of Zenigma Darkstar.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of a tilted running it down moment, just trying to find anything on the back end of the fight, but they shouldn't have been there in the first place. Like, there's no way that you win a fight right now, down 12,000 gold at 18 minutes. That it's hard to outscale what the side of TDF has, but you're not going to get into any worse position by sitting back and then you already are at. Just trying to get some items is what they need to do. They're going to be giving up a lot, though, on the back end as well. The Rift Herald charge not going to take down that inhibitor tower, but it's going to be just about a minute until Baron spawns, and pretty much everything outside of the base has been taken, save for that one bot lane tier 2 that still stands for Zenigma, but other than that, it's just going to be very difficult to get out on the map and contest any objective coming up. And as you saw in that last fight, when they do try to contest the objective, it goes in a very bad situation very quickly.
Yep. Like we said in Champs, like both teams are set and ready to try to take a big old 5v5. But, I mean, if Zenigma are in no position whatsoever to take an even fight, they have to find these dirty ways to win a fight. We've seen Shinobi get into the back line, take down Killistera up in that fight near the Rift Herald. That worked out well, but, you know, they practically lost the fight anyway. The Rift Herald went over to the side of TD Frost. So we have to find, as Zenigma Darkstar need to find some unorthodox ways, maybe find a pick on somebody. But, you know, we saw Detrik try to do that, but then immediately answer by practically giving themselves up as a pick to the side of TD Frost. And Shinobi is doing whatever he's doing in mid lane.
Yeah, and right now, the split push actually coming through from Jason, that was how they got so much damage down on the top side. And now it's starting to come through on the bot side as well, as it's going to be the 1 bot versus 4 at the Baron, but now it's going to be the disengage coming through from Jason. We'll see if he can get out.
Yep, and you know, here's this attempted pick. It's going to be the Mundo, however. Grievous Wounds is ready on the Lee Sin, but don't kick the Mundo towards your ADC. Don't do that. There's a flash forward. It's Shinobi over the wall trying to be offensive, but Jason K. Boy's defense is just too much. We'll find the kill onto Shinobi, and I think that play summarizes this game as a whole almost.
Yeah, I mean, when you're this far behind Dr. Mundo, you're not going to take him down unless you have the entire team there. He's pretty much a raid boss at the moment. Now, Girth Brooks taking so much damage just from one bouncing bomb.
Oh, goodness. The Troc trying to go in. Bless Pantheon, Rumble in the Jungle is going to be Merit Lodge finishing them off. Say Karma is going to be brought very low. the truck was as well, but was finished off. As these Baron minions will fire away on this inhibitor, Chinese Spy will find another kill on Stay Karma, 8-0-5 on that Ziggs, and this looks like it could be the death march for the side of TD Frost, looking to take this 2-0 clean sweep, but they at least want to play the stats. Death charge coming out. It's Shinobi trying to get back into Fountain. As the first Nexus turret falls, the second follows. Nexus open, respawn timers come to an end. Look at
Where'd
that
they go?
damage. Where'd they go?
What's a respawn? What is a respawn? As the side of TDF claimed the 2-0 victory in this match. A lot of work done there by Chinese Spy, a lot from Jason K, and just good team synergy from the side of TDF going to carry them to the victory.
Yep, that it was for sure. And I think Chinese Spy taking full advantage of that big play down the bot lane for the side of Zenigma. Darkstar heads up play from Chinese Spy, saying, you took some stuff there, but I'm going to take everything for myself here in the mid lane. And we can, see the difference. Finishing the game, 7,000 gold ahead of Blessed Pantheon's lane counterpart. And yeah, I was just
It looks like
Shinobi. I don't. I hate to flame or say anything, too discouraging, but Shinobi with just a poor performance on the Lee Sin. I would say that game. Shuri ended the game with the most kills on his team, but if we were playing CS:GO, we'd call those eco frags, and they were practically meaningless. No impact kills. But
yeah, we got
yeah.
Jason in for the interview. Thank you for joining us, Jason. First off, congratulations on the victory. We saw you carrying the team on this Kale and on this Dr. Mundo. How is it getting done? How are you getting those top lane advantages?
It's all about, just trust in teammates overall. So I play a very solitary game in the top side of the map, and I try and drag as much jungle pressure as I can towards top, and try and not die. That's the name of the game: not die while your teammates winning everything else.
Yep, I've heard the phrase "top island," and I can see you are a permanent resident. Speaking of letting the team win in other places, did the fact that your entire bot lane was substitute change possibly your approach to this game as a team? Did they perhaps want to allocate let you do your thing in top lane while they let the jungler maybe keep a more watchful eye on the fresh bot lane?
So Kilisteria and Rakan out. They're not really like fresh, they're
Well,
a part of the
yeah.
EDL roster. They won MIT last split. They
Okay.
they've been playing with Chinese Spy for a very long time. We have a lot of games in for EDL with Merit, and we have the Merit, Chinese Spy, and me, all three from TD all over the time. So we just had like a lot of practice, and we've like been running the same strategy with both bot lanes.
Okay, so you actually have had quite a bit of experience playing with them before then.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and looking at the drafts for both games, you had situations where you had a lot of scaling. There was a lot of scaling on the other side as well as Enigma trying to find ways to counteract that. But your team seemed to be able to push proactive plays into the early game, even given the fact that you were on more scaling comps. How are you able to do that?
So I'd like to joke and say, we're the CLG that works. We just make sure we track the jungle. We know where the jungle is at all times. Try and get in his jungle, ward, get the vision, track the money where he is. We play safe around that side of the map. We make plays where he isn't.
I will say I'm, looking at your. Well, no, they got 29 games of Kale, but correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the first time you put out the Kale this season?
Yeah, I've been on show Orange duty.
Tank duty,
All
yeah.
spring. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, hey, maybe we'll see you at Kale again after that performance in the first game. Goodness.
Yeah,
I
pretty good stuff with the carry there. I'm looking forward to the next series. Is who do you think going to be your opponent in the next round? Of course, the bracket has the other winners semifinal is the Nameless Existence versus Queen's Gambit Knights. Have you watched any of their games?
Yeah, I saw their last game that they played. It got streamed somewhere, and they did really well. I'm somewhat like I know of the Queen's Gambit organization, and they're really good players. They're like a really family oriented, tight knit group. So to see them succeeding is like pretty dope.
And of the two teams, would you prefer to face Queen's Gambit in your next round?
Who's the other person?
It is Queen's Gambit Knights versus the Nameless Existence.
Uh,
Nameless are sitting, I believe, at the top of their division. I believe they are Division 1. You guys are Division 2. But one of their victories was due to a forfeit, so perhaps they are not as tempered as some of the other teams could go up against.
I mean, I like really competitive, fun games. So in that nature, I would want Nameless. But if we want like just guarantee get that final spot, we want QG.
All right. And looking at Zenigma, do you think that they're going to be able to work their way through the losers bracket and come up against you again later in the tournament?
So before the matches today, I watched the stream game that they had before. Um, I have really mixed opinions now. Like after like watching them and then playing them, I'm hoping we can get another match with them, but we'll see how things work out. Buddy Burgers, let's see if they can end the Zenigma run in the tracks.
All right, Tiger, got any last words you want to add while we still have Jason? Because I think I'm good on my end.
That was about all I had for you, other than good luck in your matchup next week. Going forward, TG Frost, strong team. Hope to see you continue your success.
Yeah, and we're hoping to have our bot lane. Shouts out Buried Donut and Pink Ping win. Love you guys. Hope to see you guys next week.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Jason K. Boy. Once again, congratulations on you and your team's victory. And once again, we wish you the best of luck next week in the winners finals.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. I believe that's going to do it for us here tonight. Runeterra Academy's freshman class on a Thursday. What do you know? My name was Tajgar, Taj for short. I was joined tonight by Tiger. So I play-by-play. Any final words to the stream, Tiger, that you'd like to get out?
It's been a lot of fun color casting, a little bit of different action, normally got the play-by-play stuff, but I had a good time and good to see a lot of spunk in these freshman class teams. So hopefully we'll be able to track some more of what's going on here. A lot of fighting between these two particular teams. So I'd love to see that.
Yep, for sure. So that was the first match of the winners semifinals round of Runeterra Academy's freshman class. We saw Division 2's first seed TD Frost take two very convincing wins over Zenigma Darkstar. Zenigma Darkstar, Division 1 second seed, knocked down to the losers bracket as TD Frost advanced to the winners finals. They would take on either the Nameless Existence or Queen's Gambit Knights. You can catch that match, winners semifinals, at Saturday at 8 o'clock. Well, actually, wait, I should not have said that. They may conflict with our sophomore stream. We're not exactly sure if we'll be able to get that to you. Hopefully we will. That is when their match is scheduled. At the very least, we'll get the results of that. And stay up to date with us to find out who wins that and who will be taking on still undefeated TD Frost, looking good for their run towards the grand finals. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. House Cloud, congrats on getting some more points in your bag, taking down House Mountain here. Be sure to join us. I think the next stream will be Saturday because we don't have the playoff match scheduled for tomorrow night. Saturday night, I believe, will be sophomore night, so be sure to tune in then to catch that match at most likely 8 o'clock. Once again, thank you all for joining us, and hope you all have a very nice night.